Greetings and salutations everybody, my name is MiAh the King, and today we are looking at a fun little indie game that came out yesterday on Steam called Not For Broadcast. Now, if you've been following my channel for a little while, then you should already know that I did a video on this before, praising its demo for a fun, original little game. So, today we're doing a first impressions review on this game. What is a first impressions review? Well, it's not quite a first impressions and not quite a review. Reviews require you to finish the game or play such a lengthy time that you feel you can review all of its aspects accurately. A first impressions is normally between 10 to 30 minutes, and you give your impression on playing the game in that small amount of time. And you can tell a lot about a game in such a small time frame, believe it or not. A first impression review kind of combines those two processes up above. I play the game only for the first 2 hours, careful not to go over my Steam refund time frame, and then judge it and review it based on those 2 hours. This is to help my broke ass save some money and to help yo broke ass save some money. With that now out of the way, let's all take a moment of silence for the thousands of fallen YouTube channels who failed to meet expectations and were forced to disband. And now add some dramatic music. And there. Done. Okay, now, you don't want that to happen to me, do you? I don't want to be in that list. So please, like and subscribe today. Not just to my channel, but go out and find another small YouTuber and make sure you give them a subscribe and a like as well. You don't have to hit the bell, just hit those other two buttons and change a YouTuber's life today. Thank you very much. Now then, with that pandering out of the way, let's get going. The reason why I'm taking a look at this game is simply because the idea really interested me. I love video games with live action events in them, and so far I haven't really found any that are worth a damn. But this game takes the idea into a whole other direction, and I love it. The best part of doing live action in the style that these guys did is you can play the game as a game, and then watch as real life people react to what you do. Now that's pretty cool. So let's get right into this. You want to know if this game is worth its money, if it's worth your time, and if it's doing anything right or wrong. I mean, it is early access after all, and well, if you've been watching my channel, you know that a lot of early access games promise things and then either don't deliver or deliver such a broken, dirty game that it just wasn't nearly worth the effort. Well, let me calm your minds if you were interested in this, because it's fantastic. I loved every moment of playing this game. Think of Five Nights at Freddy's, but without the horror aspect. That's pretty much this game. It's more comedy and drama than it is horror or action. Now, when I say think of Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm not joking or exaggerating. You sit in a chair in a room, unable to move anywhere or anything except for your head. You have to look left, turn on your power. Look right, answer your phone. Look down, choose which ads are going to play. Look forward to manage your computer editing station. There isn't much to the story at this point. Right now there is a tutorial and episode 1. The tutorial is funny enough and easy enough to learn. I also would like to extend my appreciation to an early access game actually putting in a freaking tutorial. So thanks for that, devs. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, and luckily, they don't have to worry about that here. As for the first episode, it's also pretty funny. It's also a little difficult, but it's not impossible. It's enjoyable, and it really draws you in. See, this is the best part. At the very end of the episode, it does this whole conspiracy, mass deaths happening, tragedies, blah blah blah, and then they just say, to be continued. I almost shouted out in frustration about how I wanted to keep playing and wanted to know what the heck was going on. By the way, that co-anchor chick is pretty hot. Can I see more of her, game developers? Like, let her replace that main guy like you kind of hinted at? I want more of her. Now then, is it worth your money? Well, it's selling for pretty cheap, and for the amount of obvious production and effort that went into this game, I actually think they are selling it too cheap. This game should be at least $30. Now, when I think about how it's early access, I suppose this price tag of $15 is actually pretty freaking spot on. So, kudos devs on that one. But when the game is fully released, you gotta double that. It's definitely worth it. Don't sell yourself short. So, for the rest of you, if you're looking for something different or funny, interesting, with originality, and a great take on the live action concept, this game is right up your alley. I highly recommend picking this game up now because it's only going to get better from here. Consider this a future investment in a game that'll one day be really fun. But basically, for you out there who are undecided, it isn't asking for that much money. I mean, it's a really interesting idea, and let's face it, it'd be best now if you bought it cheap than buying it later when it's fully released, getting amazing reviews left and right, and when it's going to be worth a lot more. You play as the video editor of a news station, and if that wasn't enough for you, the game even has choice matter mechanics and choose your own adventure mechanics in between each broadcast that you were a part of. I mean, this game has a whole heck of a lot of stuff in here, and each one is innovative and immersive. So without anything else positive to say, let's take a look at the negatives real quick, just so you know I'm not being biased. But one last good thing first. There's no bugs, no crashes, there's good menus, and a good UI. It's smooth as butter. Okay then. Alright, let's continue. The game is a bit complicated. It's at a level where if you're not familiar with games, or if you're not a frequent player, or if you've just never really played a large diversity of games, it's going to be difficult for you. My wife, who's a gamer, she frequents FPS and fantasy RPG games, but it's too complicated for her. She has no confidence that she'd be able to try it, and therefore she's not even going to try it. So, you know, that is an issue that needs to be addressed. I don't think it really can be changed based on the game design and what they're going for, but maybe a difficulty level where there's more leeway or you lose less points for messing up or something. I don't know. But, because, you know, it does show a lot of things at you at once. And even though it does kind of show you how to handle most situations in the tutorial, I did run into a problem where I simply couldn't pass the level. Now, I don't know if it was a glitch or if I was doing something wrong, but there was this scene with protesters who were taking their clothes off. The devs know what I'm talking about. No nudity, so don't worry about that, but during this scene, I started to get warnings and errors and other things left and right. Now, I tried to do everything the game taught me, and nothing worked. I had to sit there and watch as my ratings went straight from near the top to 0, and I ended up losing the game. I loaded it up again and tried again. This time I just tried to shut off the broadcast. I figured my ratings were going down because of this violent and nude protest, and if I just cut it off, then, you know, maybe that would save the reputation of the station I'm working at. But that didn't work. Another game over. So then I tried it again, and this time when that part came up, I cut to a commercial. But I failed because I played the commercial way before I was supposed to. So I had no idea what was happening. So on my 4th attempt, miraculously, I was able to pass. And all I did was nothing. I just watched and waited. And yet somehow that worked, and I eventually ended up passing the level. I still don't know how that happened or why, but I'm glad that I was able to get by it. And that brings to light another problem with the game, is if you do happen to fail a level, there's no checkpoints in the levels, right? Now, the levels themselves aren't that long. You know, I'd say each level is maybe half an hour, roughly. And so they're not that long, but the problem is it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of waiting, and if you fail, you have to go back and you got to listen to them talk, you got to watch all this stuff happen over and over and over again. And I got to say, on my 4th attempt, when I finally passed it, I was so done listening to those conversations. I was so irritated, but luckily I was able to move on and I was able to continue enjoying the game. Then I got to go on with the length. My play time is 2 hours for the tutorial and the first episode. So I'd say the first episode is probably an hour and a half. I really hope that changes. Maybe make the episodes each longer. But then again, I don't really know how many episodes they plan on having in their games, so maybe this is okay. I mean, if you plan on only having 5 episodes, maybe bump it up to 2 hours each. But if you're going to have 10 episodes, then an hour and a half is just fine. So the length right now is you're paying $15 for 2 hours. The only bright side here is that it's episodic, and you won't have to pay for future episodes. At least as of this moment, I don't think so. I didn't see any options for that or notices for that anywhere, so I hope that I'm never going to have to pay for future episodes. If I do, that'll most likely change my opinion a great deal unless they introduce some new concepts here. And my last complaint is that the game doesn't cover things that you think it would as a news station. Now, I expected to be playing as a newsroom editor or whatever my position is for all kinds of things. But during Christmas, there was no newscast. And that was a little disappointing. Instead, the game just skipped over it. And then they mentioned how there was some worldwide crisis or something. Didn't really go into detail. But again, no news coverage, which you would think their news company would definitely cover. So, I mean, it was very disappointing that these two events that stand out to me were not covered. Now, even quick snippets where you only play for 20 minutes for those particular instances, you know, in between the big long sessions, you know, that would have been preferable to just having these moments ignored completely. So maybe the devs can think about that as they're going on further. Maybe allow us to have some more interactivity with these events. Like there was one choose your own option, option through the dialogue sections of the game where it was like, do you choose to go to work or do you choose to go on vacation with your wife? Well, I chose to go to work because my wife in real life wouldn't get mad at me if I was called into work suddenly. And, you know, it's not my fault, it's my job's fault. So she'd be mad at the situation, but not mad at me. So the wife is mad at you in the game, but it didn't show me going to work. I didn't actually go to work. It just skipped several days later to the next event. So, like, you know, if you're going to have things like that, at least do something, you know. Even if it's just having us choose another choice while we're at work, you know, just a little something to give us a little bit more immersion and let us really get further into the game. Other than those things that I mentioned, though, I really did enjoy this game and all the little aspects that it has within. It even has money that you earn after each shift, which you can then spend on equipment to make your job easier or just decorations for your office. So, I don't really have anything else to say. This is all I got. I don't have to give this game a rating because this isn't a deep dive review, but if I had to, I'd give this game an 8 out of 10. It does everything it sets out to do pretty damn well, and I can't wait to see the final product, and I'm sure that it'll be a 9 or even a 10 out of 10 if I look at it for this genre and for based on goals it set out to do, goals it accomplished. So, from what I can tell, the game is so far really good, and it's going to get better. It's funny, it's interesting, original, it's got live action done well. So, I mean, if you're worried that because it's live action it's not going to be all that good, think again. They handled it perfectly here. I mean, a lot of times you play these live action games and the acting is terrible, the production is terrible, some gameplay mechanic is flawed. But it's like these guys knew that and they played it up. I mean, they really laid it on thick with the comedy involving live action people in a video game. And it was brilliant. I'm not going to spoil anything for you because I want you guys to go out there and play it. But there were some moments in the game where I got some big laughs, and I was really enjoying myself. So if I haven't made it clear enough, I recommend everyone go out and buy this game, share this video just to get the word out, and give these inspiring developers your support. The developers, at the very end of their game, they had a little video which said that they thank everybody for their support. They look at all reviews, they read all the Steam comments and stuff, and they're lividly paying attention to all this stuff. So if the devs end up watching this, thank you so much for this game. It's a really fun game. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait for the future developments. And hey, you know, maybe kick a small YouTuber a review copy of the full game or the demo or the alpha or something. Let me get a review on that, and I can put out some more videos and help you guys out. I'd be helping out your tiny game. You'd be helping out my tiny channel. What do you say? Hit me up. So, that's it for the video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I helped you learn more about the game. I hope I helped you either save money or spend it wisely. And I hope to see you on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you farewell.